Another place that India leads, but there's a lot more that all of you can be involved in driving forward, is this digital public infrastructure. No country is more able to take government benefits and get them out efficiently and effectively to their citizens than India. You would have expected rich countries or others to do that, but in fact, they did not. And so that basic structure that starts with identity and bank accounts and payments is just foundational. And as part of this visit, I'm now seeing how that foundation is being built out in agriculture with profiles of farmers to understand what they need and give them advice, built out with health records so that we can help people not only with infectious diseases, but the challenge that's coming in the future with the growth of the non-communicable diseases being a huge thing. And that digital public infrastructure will help us with these climate problems. I was in Odisha yesterday, and what they showed is that they've registered the farmers and registered what type of crops they grow and what land they own. They literally have a control center. When you walk in, you think, wow, this is agriculture, but you've got a command center and maps and people doing queries and sending out messages. And so that all starts, with an Aadhaar identity, listing those farmers, getting the information, making sure it's up to date. Another place that India leads.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor that's due to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachaha Kodash, and double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect. Shalom Barakathum. And what you just heard was Satan expound on his plans and his ambitions to enslave the world. Okay, now when you listen to this guy speak, you just think, he's just some old, Edomite. Maybe he got a few shekels. Okay, and now he's into philanthropy, trying to make the world a better place. But we, the men of the Lord, the prophets, okay, of the Holy Scriptures, are here to tell you that what you're looking at is Satan. Okay, and everything he's saying, okay, it was all prophesied to come to pass. Okay, the one world government and order that he's alluding to. Okay, and so we're going to get Proverbs, been coming out a lot lately, 26, just to start off, okay? Because he brings up things that sound compassionate and like it's a solution to a thing. But what he doesn't tell you, okay, is that all of the solutions are from problems that he manufactured, okay? You see, that's how they keep you on the wheel. And before you know it, all of the farmers are registered and all of the people are registered. Where is that going? You see? Proverbs 26 and 25, verse 24, he that hateth dissembleth with his lips and layeth up deceit within him. Okay, in the NLT it said, or the NIV, it says, enemies disguise themselves with their lips, but in their hearts they harbor deceit. All right? So philanthropy is nothing more than a cover for all types of demonic activity, including the transacting of people, okay, of adult age and under adult, okay. If you know what I'm going into there, okay, that's what philanthropy covers up, okay, and you can almost do the complete opposite of what Esau tends to name things, okay? Like Bill Gates, the individual is in question. I may actually pull it up. Oh, Salakia. I'm horizontal right now. I'll look it up later, I guess. But he's the investor of something called Upside Foods, okay? Another company called Good Food. And when you look into what those companies are, they're completely, it's a complete abomination. Okay, he's growing beef out of cancerous bovine cells, man. Okay, but he put the label good on it. You see that? So you can almost, whenever he puts a label on something, you can almost bet it's the opposite. Okay. It says, when he speaketh fair, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. Okay, and so that's just to warn you of the docile nature of the wicked, man. Okay, because a snake doesn't look very menacing if you don't know what it is. It just looks like some kind of creature that slithers around on the ground. But if you let it get close to you, okay, if you get within striking distance of it, then you'll find out the hard way. Okay. But this individual, Bill Gates here, basically just communicated what we've been telling you the whole time. Revelation 13 is coming to pass. Okay. He said he didn't think India would have gotten there, but they're in more order in terms of being able to centralize power. Okay. In this case, he's talking about agricultural. Okay. And he brought in infectious diseases in there as well to get all registered. You see, he's telling you that we want this thing to be controlled by one central hub. Okay. And ask yourself, with all the damage this guy has done, does he really mean well when he says that? So you gotta assume he's up to something, man. This is Revelation 13. Okay, in 11, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Okay, and that's true for the American political system, or the Western political system. Okay, which goes on this left, right, red, blue paradigm. Okay, it's just another dialectic to keep everybody confounded and fighting, while the real rulers of this society, they all consent. Okay, they all consent to doing it. That's how things get done. All right, they never argue about whether or not to go to war or to take some other country's resources. Okay, if you pay close attention, they agree on that. All right, and it says, verse 12, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Okay, because this guy Bill Gates, he goes back, these philosophies of modern day medicine and science, it goes back to the Greeks. Okay, and this precept applies to many different things, the high holy days as well, and the various customs and things that people engage in here in Babylon. Okay, that goes back to ancient Babylon and ancient Egypt, and okay, and then it was regurgitated again into the Greek Empire and the Roman Empire. All right, but in this specifically, their ways go back to the Greeks, man. Okay, you can look up Hippocrates, okay, which is where you get the term Hippocratic Oath from. It goes back to a guy called him the father of medicine. Okay. So when you go into Asclepius and these old gods that they used to worship in terms of medicine, and that's what you're gonna find. Okay, this is not new. They may have developed the technology further to be more technical, and they can do more, but it's the same demon behind it, man. Okay. Verse 13, and he doeth great wonders, and he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And this is what Esau has the power to do. And this is why he's going to convince so many people. Okay? Without force, he's going to convince a whole hell of a lot of people to take it. And the rest of you are going to be forced. And the rest of you that aren't forced, guess what? You're either going to be put to death or you're of the elect. That's it. The only people that's not going to take it are the people that are of the elect, or the people that are just simply going to die. Okay? And he's gonna offer you that honey first, okay, before he pulls out the Glock and force you to do it. Okay. So you're gonna see celebrities pushing things like that, pushing us toward this direction. Your so-called leaders, your LeBron Jameses, your Kim Kardashians of the world, okay, your Jay-Z's. All right. Don't be surprised if they find somebody, a celebrity you like that's very credible, and they just waited. They have them have a good reputation, and they corrupt them at the last minute to get you on board. The ark of destruction. Okay. Verse 14, and he deceived them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had a wound by the sword and did live. See, ultimately, people are finding out you don't really have a choice but to do what the rulership says. Okay, the whole ruse of this being free speech and a democracy, and you got liberty, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. They're all finding out that was a bunch of bullshit. Okay, what this really is an empire, and empires run on a very simple rule, man. Get down or lay down. That's how empires run. That's how they operate. It ain't nothing more complicated than that. All of this about voting and, and having a cultural shift and going on a strike and all of this bullshit, it all boils down to force. Okay? And at the end of the day, this nigga, Esau, let me go to it real quick, was given a blessing to rule. Okay? Revelation 6:4, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. Okay, so the Most High gave him a sword to take peace from the earth. Okay, and that's why he's in rulership. That's why it works. Okay, voting and democracy and anarchy and all of these other archies people are coming up with to try to find the best way to live. The best way to live is written right here in the scriptures, man. The ways of life are written right here in the scriptures. Okay? And because y'all, despite the Bible being the most published book in the world, y'all refuse to learn that wisdom and heed to it. So what's got to happen? Yahweh Shai's got to return and force you to do it. Okay? He's coming collecting crowns, man. We not asking, and we're going to be the ones telling you to get down and lay down. Okay? Going back to Revelation 13, finishing off verse 14, it says, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had a wound by the sword and did live. Okay, and that's all this really is. Okay, this is just an homage to the old gods that they worship, Asclepius. Okay, they'll rename them and paint them behind different things, but if you look carefully, you can read a lot of these logos and symbols. You'll see a variation of that in there. Okay. Verse 15, and he had power to give life to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he caused it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Okay, so you can see now the sword is eventually going to come out. Okay, at the end of verse 15. Okay, that those that won't worship should be killed. Okay, so that the sword's going to come out. Okay, and now the people that did it willingly, okay, they already got y'all, but the ones that wouldn't do it, eventually that sword's going to come out, and it says he's going to cause you, okay, small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. This is where this is going, man. Okay. Why do you think this nigga is over there in India because he cares about poor Elamites? No, man. He wants that's a billion people right there. If he gets the government of India to consent to him, which they will, that's a billion people right there in India. That's all going to just come right under that system. Okay. See, he's consolidating power because he's getting ready to rebel. He's getting ready to have a massive rebellion against the Heavenly Father. Okay. He's been in open rebellion as a fugitive, in general, but this is going to get a lot worse for you people out there. Okay. Verse 17, that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So when there's a register he's talking about, what do you think is going to happen if you don't register? So he's not telling you that. He's trying to sell you on the positive side of things, but he's not telling you what the consequence is if you don't. He's not telling you really don't have a choice. Okay?
So that we can help people not only with infectious diseases, but the challenge that's coming in the future.
And these infectious diseases are all manufactured as a means to scare you. Okay? That's what they're for. Yeah, he's going to kill a bunch of people with it, and that'll be a sacrifice, but ultimately, he wants the rest of everybody else to be scared as shit. Okay, Esau, I'll do whatever you say. You say put on the mask, or you say take this and take that, I'll take it. I'll go over there, I'll stay inside. Okay, he wants you back in that old yes, master spirit. Okay? Because he's terrified of Jake, man. Because if Jake, specifically the southern kingdom alone, rises up, Judah, beginning with Judah, okay, that's going to be a chain effect of the southern kingdom on down to the northern kingdom. Okay, and once that happened, every other heathen is going to rise up too. That's what they're afraid of. Okay, that's why they were so, they came down so harshly on the Nat Turner rebellion. Okay, because he wasn't the only one rebelling. Okay, Levi down there was putting it to Esau's ass down there in Haiti, man. All right, so this guy is deathly afraid of us, and he's got to lock it down. He knows that the current grip, letting people believe that they have freedom, is limited. Okay.
With the growth of the non-communicable diseases being a huge thing.
And how does he know there's going to be growth of non-communicable diseases? How does he know that? Talking about it's a trend, it's going up. Well, of course it's a trend, motherfucker. You behind all of it. All right. Let's see what these comments are saying. After depopulating enough people, he's going to chip those who are left. That's his evil plan. You see that? So the world has woken up to you. As a matter of fact, one last precept after I scroll through this. I got to go to that Nahum. Okay. It says, it's simple. I'll chip all of you, make the societies cashless, and put all the money on the chip. Then you will do exactly as you are told, or we turn off the chip and you don't eat. You see, this is why they don't want people growing food. It ain't because it's regulation. They worried about E. coli poisoning. No, man. We got to regulate these. No, he wants all of the food, all things that sustain life under his purview, under his jurisdiction, under his control. Okay? And the Captain Tazariaks of the world are simply not going to tell you that. They're just going to tell you it's sin. Ain't nothing going on. Ain't no larger global conspiracy going on. Okay? We just going to be oppressed kind of like how we are now. Then the Lord going to come back. All you got to do is just do your best to not sin, brother. And when the Lord gets back, you're going to get on the chariot. No, man. You're going to have to go through an hour of temptation. And this nigga right here is plotting that very hour. Okay? I'm willing to bet not a single one of these comments are going to be favorable to this guy. And these are mainly his own people. Bill Gates is a heartless ghoul who wants you dead. If I don't kill you with lab-made diseases, vaccines, fake meat, GMO crops, and block sunlight, all of these are things are charges on this guy. This one nigga right here, man. What do you think the rest of them been up to, man? The rap shit on this guy, hey, it'll reach beyond the heavens, man. Genetically modified mosquitoes. Hey, this is, now you know this is the time the Lord's got to come back. How else we gonna take this nigga out, man? Ain't no way, man. And he ain't even brought out them real toys yet. This is just the shit he's just brazenly doing because the people are so dopamine addicted. It may not be the right word, but y'all are in these super dopamine loops, man. Okay, well, these people can't be told nothing. They're so easily distracted with a Beyonce concert over here, or a Klay Thompson breakup over there. You know, because you're so sensitive to dopamine responses, social media likes. Imagine being addicted to something that doesn't sustain your body at all, but breaks you down. Okay? You're a drug addict, man. When a guy has enough money to end world hunger, end poverty, regenerate the soil, and clean the ocean, instead chooses to pump his money into GMO mosquitoes, blocking out the sun, creating fake meat, most importantly, producing toxic, you see the word there. You see? So you've been called out, Esau. You've been exposed, okay, handedly. The Most High is thorough. He's not done yet. Nahum 3 and 5, okay, behold, I am against thee, saith Yahweh of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness and the kingdoms thy shame. Okay? And eventually these people are going to have to go into hiding, man, especially when things start to break down, because the scriptures say, before I finish this, the scriptures say before he's actually able to do it, all of this plan he's got, it's all going to unravel. Okay? Verse Job 5 and 12, he disappointeth the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. And this is precisely what's getting ready to happen to this guy. Okay? They're going to end up having to retreat in bunkers when it's all said and done, and they're still not going to get away. Okay? Going back to Nahum 3 and 5, finishing that off. I read that. Verse 6, it says, and I will cast abominable filth upon thee, and make thee vile, and will set thee as a gazing stock, because I believe there's more to be published on J.E. Stein. Okay? And everybody already know. They don't even need to see any more than that. They already know what you own, man. And it's at the very tippy top of society. So what do you think these lower level guys are into? Why do you think you get less money for being a PDF than you do for selling drugs? Okay, he was giving Jake 30-year mandatory minimums for a few ounces of cocaine back in the day. Okay, but meanwhile, you done ran through 17 children, just completely ruined them and mutilated. Some of them got graphic, man. Okay, and this nigga gets to walk. He gets special treatment, or he gets a very light sentence. Or even worse, if you're high up enough, they'll just let you migrate over there to Israel with no extradition back. See, this is what we're dealing with. Anyway, I'm going to end it there, man. Lord willing, this is edifying. Call halal Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. Ba'ashim Nachakwadash Kwam Yasharala. Abba Babal. Shalom.